Yeah, empowering Nigerian youths. Youths awake now. We must learn.
Build the youth, build the nation. Destroy the youth, destroy the nation.
Morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends on where you dey hear me from. We dey live for Yan Radio so if you know say you dey your house, you still sit down for house, make una come outside, make we yarn about this matter wey dey on.
Youths, awake now. It's time politicians yarn with us. No more empty campaign promises. They must come to us and reason with us. Since the beginning, we've given our support. What have we gotten for it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Feel say the time don't reach because these politicians they don't use us play too much. We think say the time don't reach when they say the youth could come together and then with one voice to demand what they want. So that's the reason why we did here. So after these deliberations, we wanted and say those days don't pass. We said we don't dey pass the youth, so we dey try create platform for those where they behind those where they come, so that they fit express themselves and then demand what they want from this presidential candidate.
So I welcome you all once again, particularly member of the press. You guys have you've waited and you've done a whole lot. So we are grateful and we want to thank you for gracing this occasion. And we believe that at the end of the day, the communique will send a strong message to the leaders, supposedly leaders, and they will definitely want to yarn with the youth. Thank you.
This election will be good. Even though say it look like say it not good. But we Nigerian youths believe say it will good. And this time when we say we go come out in mass, come vote. Come choose who go lead us in this country. If many things don't go bad, don't go nyama nyama. Hunger everywhere, hardship everywhere, bandits, life no get value again. They look for capacity person who can lead this country. Because for person if he come, the same thing will happen. So we need capacity person. So they believe say this country will good and we wish them better luck.
We understand the fact that the past must not be seen as cancelled checking. Our present, as the president of Nigeria, cannot be seen as the only cash we have, and the future has a promissory note. What we have to do to be able to rebuild a new Nigeria is to reconcile the past with the present in order to be able to tell the future, in order to be able to reframe a better future, to be able to rebuild a better future. For what of time, I really want to be very brief here. For many years now, there has been arguments that Nigeria underperforms due to lack of state capacity to deal with the contemporary complexities of government and governance because of inability to promote public good and effective service delivery in the country. It is a noticeable fact that governance, and political leadership in our country have been driven by self-interest and other primordial considerations, which takes priority over that of the public. The failure of Nigeria finds expression more particularly in the areas of security of lives and properties, promotion of the rule of law, and provision of visionary leadership. Generally, the nature and characters of the political leadership explains the Nigerian state incapacity for effective and good governance. There is no controversy about the series of symptoms of state weakness and failure in Nigeria, as we all know as Nigerians. But the point of debate today remains the extent of Nigeria's incapacity. The extent of Nigeria's incapacity displayed by the Nigerian state. Nigerian state, confronted by socio-political instability, high degree or level of corruption, mass hostility, poor microeconomic management continue to display the attributes of a state in crisis. Our leadership lacks the political will to initiate or sustain policy or structural transformation, or to embark on sound economic reform to reposition the country for greatness. Despite the upsurge of globalization and the prospect of the borderless state, Nigeria has failed to take decisive role in economic transformation, growth, and development, and jettison every act that is inimical to improved livelihood as well as socio-economic and political development of the country. With the weakness of Nigeria's state and its ineffectiveness, it has become challenging to eradicate impoverishment, engage in infrastructural developments, educational decay and development, and stem the tide of insurgency, terrorism, which have the potency to derail the country's moderate political achievements or stability so far. Most importantly, political parties in Nigeria have introduced the military command system into the processes of electioneering and governing structures. In many instances, candidates for electoral positions are handpicked. Thus, internal party democracy has become obsolete and rigging of elections very apparent. The end result is the emergence of legitimately illegitimate leaders. Hence, the followership who had fought for the enthronement of democracy subsequently succumbed to the antics of the ruling class. The citizens, therefore, are divided into many layers. Some benefited from the militarization of the electoral processes as more unemployed youth become engaged by the party leadership as party talks. Many are able to offer their votes for sale. Many become desperate to join the ruling elites because of the little political rewards, while the majority of the masses prefer to display political apathy. Thus, electoral corruption has become the norm in our country. Therefore, political party structure has continued to produce deceptive candidates for political positions. The result is a lack of visionary leadership that fully understands the fundamentals of effective governance in Nigeria. That is why, over the years, the ruling elite have consistently demonstrated their lack of respect for the rules and regulations governing the state. With structural and institutional decay, corruption and impunity evident in Nigeria's socio-economic system, the capacity of a state to uphold rule of law is to a large extent greatly undermined, hence leadership bankruptcy. It should be noted that the fortunes of any country are tied up to the quality of its leadership. When a patriotic person is on the throne, good things happen. History is replete with examples of how the fortunes of some nations of the world have changed due to the vision of their leaders. For example, George Washington of the United States of America, George Hill of Britain, many more we cannot even mention here. Why this movement? How do we have to now rebuild a new Nigeria? In the opinion of every one of us here, the present compounded illusion of political caprice and moral debility in the affairs of our dear country, Nigeria, can only be dispelled by a demystification of those manipulative political crucibles that have become the fulcrum of socio-political disorder among the great masses and ethnic groups of the Nigerian people. Among these are ethnicity, religion, and so on, all of which have constituted Nigeria's metrics of political pluralism and attendant instability. The result really is that because of lack of fully prepared leadership because of the manipulative nature of elections in the past, we hope that it will change this coming election. The youth and their strengths have been completely decimated. And hence, based on the recently released data by INEC, we now understand, as we always do, the influence and the power of young men in this country. And I can tell you, the extent to which this country can be transformed and changed and be rebuilt depend on how we can effectively organize ourselves, galvanize our potential to engage the system in order to rebuild the system. In the next, maybe less than, let's say 39 days or thereabout, that's next month, and already there is a chaos, confusion, and all of challenges in Nigeria, how to carve Nigeria up and serve it among politicians. Politicians do not have concretized development plans anymore, but always have plans and budgets for elections. It has been said that Nigerian politicians plan for the next election instead of staying in the present and working for the people. The quest to acquire political power has led to manifest polarization of the country into north and south. Regional agenda has become centralized against the goal of the collective. There is a pursuit of self in the negation of the whole. Therefore, we have come as youth to help change the narrative. Purposely, how can we go about this? Young believe in what we may call mental and generational shifts, a new mental and generational shifts. And this generational shift can be driven only by the youth. In the broad coalition of us, that is the youth, can find political expression, provide a shape of optimism. As Nigeria's youth, that is creative, entrepreneurial, and less intended by the political extraction. We intend to use this avenue, an opportunity to reset the country's narrative. We believe that government must concentrate on the basics: security, health, education, power, roads, agriculture, and so on and so forth. With these public goods in place, Nigeria's young people are more than capable of turning the country round. At the present trajectory, the population will definitely double to maybe about 200 million by 2030. Now the issue really is, if nothing is done now, or let me say if nothing is done long before 2030, Nigeria will become a problem far too big for the world to ignore. Why this is so is because if you have understanding, geographical understanding of the map of Africa, you see at the top there where Egypt is. Well, let me say we can see Africa, the map of Africa, as a pregnant woman. West Africa carry the pregnancy. Up there, the head and the neck is severed. Then down there, the legs represent South Africa. Then, forgive me to use this word, the private part is where Nigeria is. What that means is that Nigeria is pregnant with so much potential to birth a new development, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa. Nigeria presently is experiencing economic, socio-economic, and political disequilibrium because things are not the way they should be. We can all tell what we're going through in Nigeria today. And a new level of socio-economic and political equilibrium can be re-established when we are engaged, when the youth are determined to be involved, when the youth are organized, until you are properly organized, until you are seen as a force to contribute to the birth of a new Nigeria, you will never be involved. So here today, challenging every one of us and all Nigerian youths, it is time we begin to yarn. We're speaking so much of grammar. It is time for us to begin to sit together with our would-be leaders, engage them ideally, intellectually, and otherwise, and extract commitment from them. If need be, there is also need for us, because we have the potential, we have the gift, we have the talent. We can also picture those things. We can also come up with programs which will help to better our lives. I can tell you, in every country of the world that has experienced wars, wars have been declared by old men, but the young men always fight and die. We are not ready to fight and die. Not necessarily physically, but in this case, some of us are fighting and dying economically. Fuel scarcity and all whatnot. So today is a day that some of us have been waiting for. So you're welcome, and I challenge you to get involved. And I pray that by the grace of God, the new Nigeria will be birthed and rebuilt as we get involved. Thank you.
Well, you understand, say, for Nigeria, our purpose for today was how we could rebuild Nigeria, make it strong and better for all of us for future. And you cannot rebuild Nigeria when you don't know, say, when you know how the path don't break. When you are sick, the only way you can get help is when you don't meet your doctor. You don't go do tests. If they tell you, say, okay, now malaria or typhoid, then you know which kind of mess way you fit take. So what I will do that to address those things, those problems that we get. Until those problems are addressed, you will not know how to rebuild Nigeria. That's just the point. And at the bottom line is that in the past, they didn't even consider our youth. They just, because of the way election have been manipulated, they never consider us at all. They just think, say, the best thing, give them small money, divide and rule them, move on. But now, with the birth of beavers, it be like, say, our power don't get that. So we must use that power to rebuild Nigeria.
We have done great research about this country, and we've been around. We sat down and pondered which way forward. Today, if I call my son, he's just 7, I say, boy, can you do this? He will ask me, why, Daddy? I don't think in our generation we used to ask our parents why. So we need to leave something for them going forward. This is the 21st century. There's something we have observed going on day by day, yearly, after 4 years, all political seasons. The youths will need to understand that we hold the power of voting. We can make anybody president, and we can make anybody governor, and we can deny anybody from getting it. This is the strength we have. But we need to say that to ourselves. That's why we call ourselves together in love, in agreement, calling on other youth leaders all over the country and students. That's why you can see Nance, Arewa, Niger Delta, Oduduwa, Ohanese, NYCM. So we are complete. There's nothing we cannot do. Unity is our strength. Every 4 years, because our leaders know the problem of this country, we need electricity. We need this, we need that. They come up, they prepare a program or whatever, put on the internet. We will give you light, we will give you this, we will do that. You go to campaigns, everyone will just come up, PDP, APC, ABDA, they do whatever, they don't tell us their manifesto, they don't discuss with us. They just go. And after that, the election goes on and we are out there for another 4 years. Youths are not included in what they are doing. It's becoming a recurring desma, which we must treat. I think including the media, you guys, you hear me and hear me very, very well because you are all part of this. You are the youth. No, I don't think there's anybody 80 to 90 yes, we respect our elders. We are not pushed aside. We are not hooligans. But please, and please, we need to understand why we are all here. We are all here to unite, to ask for our rights from whoever that wants to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Tell us the programs you have for the youth. If you say you want to give us power, tell us how you want to achieve it. Not, I will give you unfledged electricity in 4 years. How will you achieve these things? Discuss with the youth. We need the leader that will take us to the 21st century trillion-dollar economy. We need a leader that will drive us through technological economy. We don't need the same stories every time. So that's why we have gathered together. We have a lot, and we are preparing a charter of demand that we can give to whoever that agrees to our own terms, because we have the power. And I believe by the special grace of Almighty Father that have gathered us here today, the youth of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will have a rethink, and will have a rethink, and have a rethink, so we can be able to do it. Thank you very much.
Because the upcoming election, every year they tell us they will do this one, as well for then they see the things. So now 1 year to the presidential candidate, when they come tell us how they want to achieve all this is what they tell us. And they tell us that they want to give us unfledged electricity, they want to build house with us, they will build road, they will do this and do that. I beg, since we don't see so simple, yeah, say they will do it. Now 1 year we get until now, when they tell us how they want to achieve this thing. Because insecurity don't fool everywhere. Before our children come to carry much and I make 1 year for better Nigeria.
Nigerian youth. Great Nigerian youth. Well, I'm the spokesperson of YAN, Youth Awake Now. I have the mandate of the directorates to read the communique. First of its kind, Youth Awake Now, YAN Conference, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, 16th January 2023. The conference theme, the youths have awakened for new Nigeria. A communique issued at the end of the 6 months dialogue of all APEC youth organizations in Nigeria, as well as youth leaders in the political and social field for Youth Awake Now, YAN, a strategically positioned non-profit organization to provide the critical platform for the Nigerian youth to speak YAN with one voice, regardless of socio-economic, ethnic, religion, and political background, and to finally secure the future of the young ones from decades of promise and fail by our political leaders. Preamble, we the youths and young people from across Nigeria gathered here in Abuja on 16th January 2023 at the Youth Awake Now YAN International Press Conference, born out of the need for the Nigerian youth to YAN, spearheaded by the Apex youth organizations in Nigeria, as well as major youth leaders in the political and social fields in the country, including both not limited to 1. Arewa youth leaders, Ohaneze Indibo youth leaders, Afenifere youth leaders, Ijo youth leaders, NYCN leaders, NANS youth leaders, NAPS leaders, NYC leaders, NYP leaders. Overview of YAN development and landscape. 1. YAN has brought together over 170 million youths in Nigeria under the auspices of all the Apex youth organizations and youth leaders, as well as social media influencers of diverse ethnic, political, and religious backgrounds,
to foster open communication and ignite dialogue for accountability with all presidential aspirants, I guess this should have been candidates now, of the incoming 2023 general election on their plans for the youths. 2, as we all know, the Nigeria youths have been at the receiving end of policies made by leaders of past administration and thus have been denied several opportunities to exploit their youthful potentials, and hence the need to thoroughly engage the manifestos of presidential candidates for proper scrutiny and endorsement. Priority areas of YAN. Priority areas of YAN for Nigerian youth. YAN is the future of Nigeria and cannot allow Nigeria to be regarded as a failed nation. As of today, no single sector is working. Name it: education sector, strike every day, power sector, no lights, security, terrible with uncountable debt toll, infrastructure, none. The little available, no form of maintenance culture. Aviation, worse service. Health, no one will treat you unless you pay first. In fact, all sectors have major issues, and it is sad indeed. We, the youth of this nation, have had enough. That is why we must YAN. We are tired and we have tried. We must use our numbers. We must use our numbers to speak with one voice, and that is why every single youth most of whom belong to one or two of these youth organizations that their leaders are here today, have all decided to YAN to our leaders and the world, letting them know that it is not going to be business as usual. Business as usual. Our future and the children's future depends on YAN. 4, for goodness sake, we are the first century and the world is moving fast. Technologically is the order of the day globally. But today in the Nigerian civil service, most civil servants cannot even use the computer very well. The economy is still carrying files when every other nation have all gone digital. There is a lot to do, and Nigeria is missing out from the trillion ICT economy, and we must YAN. 5, Nigeria is where leadership is appointed without experience in the sector. Imagine as an accountant appointed to be the Minister of Health, or a lawyer to be the Minister of Aviation. Are we serious at all in this country? It is time to be serious. Our leaders are taking all youths in this country for granted. We have had enough of all this unseriousness with our destiny. Going forward, youth inclusiveness in leadership role in government is mandatory. Leadership mentorship is very poor, where the same leaders led 1, 2, and 3 generations. So who will you hand over to? Youth must be carried along going forward. We must YAN. Number 6, or is it infrastructure or is it corruption that has eaten into the fabric of the nation? They tell us they are fighting corruption. but it gets worse each year. We have had enough. The youths have come together to take their future in their hands and mouths to yarn. We, the youths, make up about 80% of the nation's population. We must use our numbers to unite with one voice and hold whoever that will win the election accountable to deliver on their manifesto. At least for the sake of the future of the younger ones. Our grandfathers are still leading us. Our children, we kept hearing that we are the leaders of tomorrow. This tomorrow that never comes, is it when we die that we will lead? No, 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 we must yarn. Our commitment. We, the Nigerian youths, believe strongly that our diversity is our pride and living in peace should be above all. We therefore express our commitment to work together to build a better Nigeria amidst our various ethnic, religious, political, and cultural diversity. With this community, we commit ourselves to fostering intercultural dialogue and relations across all leaders regardless of party in Nigeria, and also call on every Nigerian youth to be enjoined to yarn freely, to yarn freely, expressing their demands to their preferred candidate, using the yarn platform as a common tool to drive socio-economic growth and sustainability for a better future. Next step. The issues are endless, and considering the list of what is wrong with the system means that this conference will not end today. We must first and foremost let them know that all youths have come together to yarn. The manifestos will be presented to the youths and defended by the aspirants. The contestants, the content endorsed as well as that of the Nigerian youth will be put together, and a major demand charter from the Nigerian youth will be presented to the aspirants, after which a memorandum of agreement will be executed with each of the presidential aspirants. Enough is enough. We are not going to continue to take this again. Thank you. We must yarn. God bless you.
This is our new body we will form. Now, the first time where Nigerian youths and the critical stakeholders they come together. Say we will come together to discuss, talk with our politicians and leader them. We will ask them what they get for us, how we will follow them. We don't follow them, learn severally. You don't reach. We will ask them what they. Politics and they call manifesto. Their manifesto, how they will govern the country, how they will look after us. We want to ask them, make them show us whether our interests they inside. If you don't inside, we will tell them, say no, you don't inside, make them put our interests inside. And the meaning of yarn, we all of us there. So we call on every Nigerian youth to come out to yarn, make all of us yarn with our leader there to get our proper place in Nigeria.
I, Comrade CJ Diga Ezewafo, the National President of Nigerian Youth Alliance, hereby move motion for adoption of this communique.
They say and so, youth awake now. And Nigerian youth will they call on, we will yarn, you don't take. They don't become recurring desma as our chairman say, okay. Every time they will tell us so different story. But by the divine grace of God, the whole ethnic Apes youth leaders are together now. We are saying that whoever that wants to lead us in this country must tell us what he will do for the youth. And that is what we are hearing. We are calling off all the youth that will join the people that are supporting all these presidential candidates. Let them relax and let them come and tell us what they have for us. Now waiting with one yarn, and that is my own yarn from Nigerian Youth Arise.
Build youth, build a nation. My name is Jonathan Lukobri. Having understood the content of the communique, I support the motion for the adoption of YAN.
You know, say YAN just be like an idea. Which time just arrived. As a country, none of us will be Nigerians. We feel comfortable say the country then they run away. So as youth leaders, all of us, as you think say you be young people, before you know, you they grow old. So this is not the only time when Nigerian youths get to come together to forge a way forward, so that in leadership, everybody could be responsible to lead this country in the direction where it's supposed to be. This is the 21st century, but you see where Nigeria is still there. Just come on to travel around this country peacefully, you don't figure it out. You can see the level of inflation. Now, fuel today is still on something naira per liter, and this is something where now we they produce here. I know like the excuse why people they say for Ghana fuel is 500 naira. Do they produce oil? No. All of these things that we they produce them, but because of bad leadership, you see how the country they collapse day by day. Inflation come on rise back now 45,000 naira today. Meanwhile, just about 6-7 years ago, now only about 8,000 before. So youth today will demonstrate say now we get the power. We will decide the fate of this country. So any leader we want to lead this country must bond with youth today. So youths must decide to yarn now. If we don't yarn now, we will never get the opportunity to yarn again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We are fully part of this program.
We unanimously agreed to adopt this communique. So by this, I think, what formal method are we using? We will just raise our hand. It's a working document already. We're going to make more progress in it. So thank you once again. I think it has officially been adopted by all of us. Do I speak the minds of my colleagues? Thank you. Thank you once again.
We go long way because people will matter. They involved for this program. You will see different results. Even with students, we market women and everybody there around. So it's a clear indication that Nigerian did very serious system around. And we're not going to expect to do something. We expect something new to happen. We need to do something new so that something new will share. And that's exactly what we're here. That's exactly what we're doing. So I believe, this one at the start will start.
For us to have the impact, especially knowing that we have just about 40 days or thereabout to have the general elections, is YAN prepared to have state structures that can coordinate these activities from the grassroots? Thank you.
So I want to know specifically, please. We have 35 affirmative actions for women. So for the next government, how many percentage of youth, of the youths will you like to see in the next government? That is just it. Please be specific.
We have structures already across the nation that we can reach to real time. We can just drop a WhatsApp message and everybody is already all over the nation. That's why we decided to come together. It's not something we start. It's a platform that is open to everyone. We have YAN TV, we have YAN radio, we have all of this. You can just open on the social media, just go there, go and YAN. Speak your mind. What do you think is good for the Nigerian youth today? With social media and real-time reports can go viral and start changing the minds of the youth before the general election. Does that answer your question? Fairly. But then, is an organization, definitely. There should be a structure that will get to that. That's why we have directorates. But I'm talking about now, after now. Does that answer your question? Thank you very much. Then the second question is inside the Charter of Demand, do we have a percentage of youths? The Charter of Demand is one of the reasons why we're here to get your input and your contributions, because we are all youths. So if you want 20%, you want 10%, you want 5%, it's an open door policy. It's not just us at the high table deciding. That's why I said it's youths awake now, not youth high table awake. So the awakening is for every one of us. Does that answer the question of the?
Yes. Who asked the question?
Yes.
Who asked the question?
From Guardian newspaper.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I would like to know if Yan in the next few days will endorse a candidate, and at the same time we'll be interested to know who is bankrolling Yan. Thank you.
With just 39 days to the general elections, and you are just meeting to start consultation on the charter of the youth for the election or for the candidates, do you think this is rather not coming late? One. Then two, we have diverse interests in this 2023 general elections, of which we know that youth are the backbone. We have the highest statistics of voters in this election. Do you think that as youth, that you want to come together, you can achieve this aim, knowing that we all have our diverse interests in the election? These are the two questions. Thank you.
By the special grace of God, I think a lot of us sitting at this table are all rich people. We've worked so hard to attain the level we are in now. When I was making my statement, I said this was building out of passion. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that all youth leaders are coming together. It has never happened. We'll be having different programs. When election is coming up, they go to Ariwa, talk to Ariwa, go to Nas, talk to them, go to everyone, talk to them differently. But we're coming together for the first time. We are all in different parties. That is not what, we are not going to endorse any president until anyone that agrees to the demand of the youth of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are making ourselves as the sacrificial lambs for the youth. We are demanding they come and sign the charter with us. Whoever that signs with us and we agree with the person, that the person will announce publicly that the youth of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to go and vote. But for now, like I said, everything we are doing here, we did it ourselves. Nobody is bankrolling here. We are straightforward people and we are genuine in what we are dealing with you.
Sorry, somebody also asked if this is not coming too late. I'm sure somebody asked that. This is not coming too late. This event is just happening now. In the communique, it was read that this program has been on for the past 6 months. So it's not as if Yan is just waking up today. We've been on, we've been traveling to every nook and crannies of this country, and we just decided to make it public for the first time today. This is not a new body, and we are sure of what we are doing, and we are behind time. We are on time. Thank you very much.
Well, I must tell the Nigerian youth who has been waiting for direction that the direction is here. You know, some of our youth have been waiting for our direction for long ago, thinking that it will be business as usual, where politicians and money bags will come to our enclave and consult us personally and take away our mandate, and for the next 4 years you will not see them. So I want to tell them that it's no more business as usual, because Yan has come to stay. Yan has come with all the organizational heads to make sure that Nigerian youth this time around speak with one voice. And I must tell them that the patience they have had, that the time is now. And I want all of us to yarn together in order to have a better future for our people.
For those that are doubting, this is a genuine and sincere struggle. If there is no sincerity, NANS will not be here. If it is politically motivated, we will not be here. I'm saying this to the purpose. Like we said, we have our demands to all the aspirants. Unless you are ready to work with us, then we work with you. If you are not ready for us, we will not be ready for you. As simple as it is. But we can't do it alone. It's a collective effort and collective only way that they can listen to us. As NANS, we can look at all the aspirants and discuss with them individually. Likewise, the Arewa Youth, Ohanese, and everybody. But for us to come together is going to be a no-nonsense yarning. That this is what we want, and you have to abide by it. As simple as it is. We have the population, we have the PDC, we have the capacity, we own the pooling unit, we own the what, we own the local government, and we own state. Likewise, the nation. But always they are using the normal divide and rule. They approach us individually to do business with us individually. But for us coming together now, I have so much belief that the narrative is going to change. And we so pray for that. And if we are going wrong, call our attention, please. As far as we are deviating from our course, please don't hesitate to call our attention. Because we are humans. Thank you very much. I greet you with
from the word youth awakening is a program that has to bring the youth and the presidential candidates together, face to interface. Any presidential candidate that refuses to interface with the youth and hacking to what the youth want in the next election should not be voted for. So, and we don't want it in abstract. They must be physically present in this interface. So that is why we, from the Niger Delta perspective, from the international youth angle perspective, we are behind and supporting YAM with full force. And that is